One of the most depressing and hopeless moments in my life was probably when I was 15. Okay. My mom and my sisters were out of town and my dad was asleep. So I snuck in and turned the Wi Fi on because my dad believes it interrupts sleep patterns, right? I go into the family room, the den. It has a door. So I close it. I sit on the couch, dog, and I proceed to watch OF models, sexy try-on hauls from 12 in the morning till when the sun comes up, and then I go and did my thing, in the baños. Okay, and the post-nut clarity hit like A train, dude. But you know what's insane? I still had hope, and that's not because I was like, yeah, I'll figure this out. I'll win this. Is because I knew I knew that God was going to save me, right? Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. I am a sinner. I suck. I cannot beat my flesh with my own flesh. I must walk in the Spirit. I must dwell on beautiful good things. I must turn away from the temptations that so readily devour me. Let me tell you something. I kept jorking for another 3 years. Very depressedly. I did not want to. I strived not to. And you know what? I would count days. I'd be like, yeah. I'd try to do it in my own flesh. I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to watch any wank material, but I can wank as many times as I want a day, just thinking about wank material. And then after like 3, 4 days of that, I'd be like, okay, now I just won't wank. Or I'll only wank to no thoughts, which does not work, by the way. If you're still cranking hog, telling yourself, oh, it's not lustful, I'm not thinking about anything, you are. You are. You need to practice semen retention fully. You need to fully quit jorking. When I truly quit, I was not counting days. I was not even focusing or thinking about it. One day, I was scrolling TikTok and I came across this video. I don't remember exactly what the dude said, but it hit me. I knew I could be free right then and there. And I'm not saying, I truly believe sometimes you have to work through sin till you get to the point where you can truly trust and understand the process behind trusting God for, this specific sin, whatever it is. So I was scrolling TikTok. I think the dude, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said, focus on good things. Trust God and focus on beautiful, good things. And I went, and every time when I was scroll social media, I would not go block these OF girls' accounts or whatever. If I see it on my For You page, oh no, I gotta block this account. I just scroll. It is not your job to try to push the darkness back. It is your job to run into the light where the darkness cannot reach you, right? Every time you even entertain the thought of acting or thinking or partaking in a sexual or lustful or, bad thought process, you need to just turn away, to give it to God. You don't even have to pray. You've prayed so many times. You can just trust in God's goodness to save you, right? You know, for my non-religious bros, I would highly suggest becoming religious, right? Becoming a Christian. I'm not big into denominations, but like if you need the Catholic Church is very good for you know, tradition and like steps and um I would just say get involved in church, right? Start reading the Bible. But if you don't, I don't know what to tell you honestly. I was freed by Jesus Christ. I was not freed by myself. Um, you know, and sometimes it sucks. Sometimes life is boring. Sometimes all you have to do, your only vice is the gym and running. I sometimes, I'm not as consistent in reading the word and praying as I should be. I want that to be my vice, right? I want my vice to be like going and dwelling on God. But, you know, sometimes I'm not as consistent as that as I need. This is a general rule. If something does not take consistency to be hooked on and to really want to do it, it is probably not ideal, you know? You could be totally addicted to cigarettes. That's not hard to do. Takes a lot to be addicted to running and to hitting the gym. Do things that take consistency, that build character, that build endurance. You will get through this. Have hope. Never lose hope in Jesus. That is your only hope. You cannot hope in yourself. Anyways, I love y'all, bros. And remember, if you are free, it can come back if you lose sight and if you, um, stay free. Do not fall to that temptation, to that little voice saying, "Oh, it's all right, just once." No. I listened to that voice one time and it was bad and it took me a long time to get back on track and it was very painful. So, anyways, y'all have a good evening. Happy Friday Eve.